Welcome to Bay Help Sports episode. I don't know, we've lost count of the numbers. We've got a very special guest here. You know, it represents Arsenal, Arteta's movement, really the revolution. When I think of the process, the project, I have to go to Egal. I've brought him along. We're in the mud right now. I'm not even wearing the Chelsea kit because I'm just disgraced with my team. We're wearing the RB Leipzig because at least they're getting top four. Well, fingers crossed at least. So I've got my special guest, Egal, in the building. We're going to just talk through with the preview of Chelsea and Arsenal. And, I was on his channel saying some mad stuff about not just Arsenal, but the Man City game, because everyone calls me negative. So I decided, let me back the club, not the players. I didn't highlight no players or the team or the manager. I said Chelsea and its heritage. But still, they let the people in my background down. The team that I know today isn't Chelsea. So I need to bring Egal here, and he's going to scold me for the things I've been saying in the weekend, first and foremost, and we'll get to everything else.
Bro, you're hyped. What happened? 1 second. Do you still have a better season than Arsenal? Let me ask you that first.
It depends. I can't say better season, but we can have the same season. Yes, for sure.
How can you have the same season if you don't at least get top four?
It's about top four is not a trophy. Top four is PR.
No. If you're not at least going into the Champions League next season, how dare you try to compare yourself to a team that's in the challenging for the league?
If you don't win the league, when it comes to the league, there's one winner and there's 19 losers.
Okay, now, so am I in the same position as the team that finishes mid-table?
If you don't win the league, of course.
No, you're not. The difference is, one, you're in the Champions League going next season. Two, the team is competing for the league, and you're going to be there and thereabouts hopefully next season. And three, you would gladly switch positions with Arsenal right now. Don't act like you would be. You're comfortable. Don't act like you're comfortable. Don't act like you're happy where you are.
No, I'm definitely not happy. But this is the thing that happens with Arsenal. You guys think the process. You guys talk as if the process, the project, has been completed. It hasn't. There's not been no major trophy that's been brought in. So as far as I'm concerned, you're in a longer trophy drought than us. You know what I'm saying? We've won more trophies than you this decade. We're in the worst of the worst. We're in the sewers. Why are you in a longer trophy drought than us? That's how I look at it. So if you guys finish above us in the league, well done. You lost. You made losing look way more impressive. Congratulations. But we're both losers.
Bro, you do realize you've just started in Chelsea 2.0. So this Roman Abramovich era, what was happening for Chelsea under the Roman Abramovich era, is very, very rare. Your cycle, the era of Chelsea winning major honors consecutive seasons consistently, year in, year out, in my opinion, I think is almost done. So, and what's been happening with your signings, how your club has been run under Todd Bowley, just shows me that you guys are not the same level of ambition as a club, and you guys are more accepting of these kind of seasons at the top. Maybe some of you fans aren't, but the reality is this is not Chelsea under Roman Abramovich. This is not the Chelsea that you fell in love with. This is Chelsea 2.0. So right now, you're going to turn into History FC by the end of this stream. I'm telling you. Remember that. I'm giving everybody evidence already before the show started. You're going to start talking about Champions League. You're going to start talking about league titles. You're going to start talking about all these things. We're talking about the here and now. At this moment in time, who is in a better situation? Because before you guys won your Champions Leagues, you guys were telling me Chelsea's a better club than Arsenal right now. So now, when we not only do we have our history, we're in a better situation than you right now. So why all the chest?
It's what you're saying. I agree with. You guys are in a better position than us now in terms of where we are in London. You know what our pool used to be when we wanted to bring in the top players, the world-class players, was one, we're in London, we're competing for the title, we're winning the Champions League. Well, you know what I'm saying? We're competing for the Champions League and we're playing in the competition regularly. Two, we offered big wages. You guys have it says on 280k, 60k a week. Our highest earner is Sterling 325. Other than that, Enzo's on 180. Mudryk on 100. All the marquee signers, Caicedo 130 a week. So we can't bring in high wages or competitive football. So in that sense, I could say, yeah, you guys have lapped us in that sense. But now, if we're talking just pedigree, things you need to do to surpass us, yes, you can. There's certain things, heritage that isn't there. You know what I'm saying? Winning the Champions League, going to the finals, winning the title.
We've been
even
to finals, but being to a final is not a win.
I agree. We went to the same decade as you. 2 years later, we went to the final and we lost. I don't put that in the upper echelons of our success, but for you guys, that's where your club peaked. A loss in the final.
No. Peak is when you actually win something. So we won major honors consecutive years. We were literally one win away from winning, getting a three-peat in the league. We also went invincible and won 45 games in a row in the Premier League. Like, let's not act like we peaked at going in the final in 2006. Our end of our era is 2006. That was the end of a good era. It was not the peak.
But in the same breath, I could say to you, we was one win away from going invincible a year after you guys, with less draws and a record that will never be touched, with 15 goals conceded. This was the beginning of showtime for us. But alas, I don't want to do no history talk. Really and truly going into the game, like in terms of leading up to the game, when I spoke to you about Manchester City, I said our season's on the line. I want these players to show up, rise to the occasion. From what I saw this season, I think based on the competition we've played, we're way more up for it for some reason. We show up to the Man City games, the Arsenal games, Spurs, United, even Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final with way more fight than we would going to Sheffield or Burnley at home or, the smaller teams. So now we ain't got nothing to play for. In terms of Europe, people are clinging on to the hope for Europe. I don't think that's happening, if I'm being honest with you. But we have moral victories that we need to face. So, we've got Arsenal away, we've got Spurs at home, we've got West Ham. Those 3 games are all we've got left to fight for. This is to show who really deserves to be in the squad next season. Who deserves to be here? Because really, if I had it my way, I'm clearing house. I'm only keeping Palmer and Caicedo and Gusto maybe.
How many times are you guys going to reset and start from new? Because it feels like you reset when you started the season with Thomas Tuchel and you made all those signings with Sterling and all those guys. You reset in January when you brought in Graham Potter and you made all those signings and you went Project Youth. You reset again this season with Pochettino. So you're telling me you're going to reset again next season with the new manager? It sounds like you've gone through already. What is that? Four new starts to a new project?
I agree with everything you've said there. In terms of Tuchel, I won't say it was really a reset. I would say it was more so plugging into a Champions League winning squad, and we wanted to compete for the title. However, they sacked him 4 weeks after the transfer window, 3 weeks after the transfer window. It was just never going to work there. In terms of the Project Youth thing, for some reason, our sporting directors think we're trying to be Real Madrid. They think what our project is, the under-25s, is Real Madrid. The difference between us and Real Madrid is, though, you look at the likes of Camavinga, Jude Bellingham, Tchouaméni that they brought in, but they kept in the older guards, the Modrics, the Kroos, that showed them the ropes. And, you're not thrown in the deep end if the performances ain't well, but also I'm teaching you the standards required to be at the club. They're bringing in Endrick, who's 16, but by the time he's 22 years old, Mbappe is going to be 29 going on 30. That's how you do a youth project. What we done is cleared house and brought in young players. And on top of that, we didn't go for the creme de la creme of the under-25s. Because at the end of the day, fair enough, the owners want to do an under-25 model, but they put $1 billion up front and they gave the directors $1 billion to make it work. And they didn't get the creme de la creme of the under-25s. If you had an open checkbook and you was asked to sign under-25 players in January 2023 when we was in Champions League football, when we got Real Madrid in the quarterfinals and we was like up for that tie, like, yeah, we got Real Madrid, bring them on. We faced them 2 years in a row. We beat them the first time. We almost beat them the second time. It was up for the third. And then I have an open checkbook for $1 billion. I'm signing Musiala's. I'm signing Declan Rice's, Jude Bellingham's, the top of the top, Rodrigo's. They brought in absolute strangers. So that's when the directors have to be held accountable. For me personally, I don't think we should change manager. I don't want to sack Pochettino. I want to keep him for another year. The manager options could be better. Throw the kitchen sink at Xabi Alonso if we can. If Xabi Alonso's going Real Madrid, bring me Ancelotti as someone that understands the club. He's worked here before. He can raise talents. And then moving forward in the summer, I believe a lot of the players that are starting for us should not be in our team. This is a Carabao Cup level side. The likes of Disasi, non-league Madueke, Sean Paul, Gusto, all of these guys are not going to be playing week. Like you think of Chelsea, they shouldn't be playing every week, but they've somehow they've managed to nick a living. So we need to somehow phase these guys out and bring in experienced players away from the under 25 model. I don't know how that's going to work when we have a 150.
I think you need a mixture of experience. You don't need a whole 11 of experience. What you have right now is you have experienced players who I think have been letting you down, though. Look at Sterling, hit or miss at times, not showing the consistency for an experienced player. Thiago Silva, he's not the same guy that he was a couple years ago. Chilwell, he's not been performing at his best that he was over the last couple of years. And then I can't even name too many more experienced players in your team because that's pretty much where it ends. So I think Pochettino said at the beginning of the season he needs more experience. And after you lost to the West Ham game, I did like a historic rant on your club. And one of the things I mentioned was experience. Experience going to cost you. Your defense has gotten down the roof because you lack the experience defensively. And when you have inexperienced defenders in a back line, and players who haven't played with each other for a while, they don't know each other's tendencies. That's why your defense is a lot worse. Your midfield looks disjointed because these players have not played too many games together. You need at least somebody who's played under the system previously or somewhat knows each other. That's why even though Enzo and Caicedo have been here for a while, that's why sometimes people get on to Conor Gallagher because he's an academy kid. He's not the shiny toy, but he gives you a 6 out of 10 minimum. I feel like, at least personally for me, I don't think he's the worst player in that midfield. But Enzo and Caicedo get all the plaudits and all the criticism because they deservedly so. They should be playing better. And then Cole Palmer's playing well, but the rest of your attack has not fired. Madueke is not good enough yet, in my opinion. You look at Jackson. He is a moment's player, and at times he is the worst player on the pitch. So he's just hot and cold. You can see this. You can see why they signed him, but then other times you see why he's still inexperienced and young, and why a club like yourselves shouldn't be really signing young players and growing them. Leave that to Brighton, West Ham, and others. You can maybe sign one or two, but a whole team of it. And did you see your team sheet for the FA Cup? You had like 35 people.
Strangers. You see all the strangers on there.
NPCs. Bro, I know your Chelsea fans don't probably like me, but the reality situation is you guys are kind of blinded. And coming from me as somebody who's very optimistic about my team and can be blinded by false hope sometimes, I see what you guys are looking at, and I don't see any energy. I don't see any positives at this moment in time. I think you guys are in similar situation to Manchester United, but you guys think because your squad is younger, that you're in a better situation. You actually might be in a worse situation because you have all these young players that might not be good enough for your club on such large wages.
8-year deals as well on 8 years. Everything you've said, you've knocked the hell on that you've hit the nail on the head. Because in terms of Jackson, for example, we'll start there. He's a 30 million striker from Villarreal who got 13 league goals and actually never played striker before. He was playing on the wing. So getting what we've got from him, I can't be too mad. You've got 13 goals in the league. I mean, you've got 10 goals in the league. You've got 14. You got 14 GA in total in the league. I can't be mad at you. You're a 30 million striker. So when you're going through on goal in Wembley, you're doing what you've done, this is what we invested on. You look at Madueke, he's a 35 million pound winger from PSV, Eredivisie. Look where we're shopping and look at the return we're getting on midfield. Caicedo and Enzo. Enzo was 6 months removed from River Plate when we signed him for 100 million. We've never heard. If you spoke to me 7 months ago, 8 months ago, the tacticals on Twitter, I can tell you they knew him. Or guys that played Football Manager, I didn't know him. He could have walked past me on Westfield, Stratford Westfield, and I would have not known who that was. But for some reason, these guys in our fan base have enabled us to believe. Same with Mudryk, 88 million from Shakhtar Donetsk, who has less than 15 career goals. You expect these players to be world beaters. It was never going to work. Look what you shopped at. It doesn't make no sense to me. So when I look at what we've received, I said this a long time ago. First time we came across each other, I think on Football Terrace, I was saying the same things. The squad isn't good enough. But the fan base, we're reaching Arsenal fan level delusion these days. I think it's starting to get neck and neck, our fan bases, where we're starting to believe these guys are with you guys. You have, for example, Saka. He's a good player, very good player. I don't think he's world class, but you guys can run around and say he's world class, he's world class. So people will call you guys deluded, but he's still a very good player.
I don't think people call us deluded because of him. Let's be honest.
There's a lot that plays a part, like what you done that when you drew Bayern Munich in the Champions League, when you say bring me Bayern and bring me Real Madrid, I want the smoke. We're gonna dunk on Tuchel. Like, just it's Arsenal. That's Arsenal,
You could have used the combined 11 as an example, but yeah, these things. I think that's a good example. But guess what? Everyone is going to overhype their players. I'm going to see Chelsea combine 11s with either Disasi or Levi Colwell over Gabriel. That's what I'm going to see. I'm going to see it. Even though it's not true, we're going to see it. We're going to see Malagusto over Ben White. Even though I would put Gusto left wing. Left back, I mean. We're gonna see, what do you call it? People saying crazy things, right? But the reality situation is, every fan base does this. I can't simply just put it on Chelsea fans as much as I want to. And you see me always dunking on Chelsea fans. This is a worldwide thing, and it happens in every sport. So I get when things are not going right. When things are not going right, you want to blame somebody, be it the owners, be it the quality of the players, be it the manager. But sometimes you just need to look at your approach. And Chelsea's got it wrong on every level, from managerial appointments to lack of experience, transfer strategies, getting rid of directors and bringing in people so quickly without actually having a plan. It's just, I can't blame the fans alone anymore, because I think Todd Bowley is more of an issue than anything else at your club. And the reason why I say he's an issue, you cannot take over a sports team, not have that much experience of it, and go out making dinner deals with Barcelona and try to get signings over the line. I think he literally is treating this like a shiny new toy, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, there's so much ego that comes into play, because this is also why I don't think if they sack Pochettino, the sporting directors that came in January, because Todd Boehly was running the club. He was the director of football under Tuchel signing, sacking Tuchel, bringing in Potter. Then he brought in directors, Christopher Vivell, Lawrence Stewart, Win Stanley. They were tasked with two jobs: find a midfield partner for Enzo and bring in a top-class gaffer. Nagelsmann was very liked by Vivell. Vivell wanted Nagelsmann, but Nagelsmann didn't agree with the sporting model, which was that the directors are very hands-on. They choose the players that get signed. They have a say in that. We've seen before. They have a say in the team sheet. Pochettino said himself, if I was to rest Enzo and Caicedo, the owners will kill me. So it's out of their hands. So Nagelsmann, like any top coach, will say, why would I come here? No. Same with Luis Enrique. Why would I come here? No. So then our final three shortlist of managers was Onslaught, Vincent Kompany, and Pochettino. Obviously, you go with Pochettino. Them hiring Pochettino also shows that they don't understand the fan base. There's a disconnect between the higher-ups and the fans, because we had Rafa Benitez lead us to a Europa League trophy and we booed him because he was Liverpool. Even though he was a Champions League winning coach, he was the Liverpool manager, and we did not respect Liverpool. We had a rivalry with Liverpool. We didn't like the gaffer. So why would you bring the best Spurs manager in recent history and give him this mess? And then you look at the situation this weekend. We won 6-0 without Enzo Fernandez, who was the best football, most balanced we actually looked as a side without him. And Enzo comes in, and we had to put Gallagher left wing to shoehorn Enzo into the side. And Gallagher has to play no matter what, because he's the only person in the midfield that has legs. So if you want to sack Pochettino or improve the squad, we need to hold the directors accountable, because they're the ones that made the sandwich. You go to Subway, if you make a sandwich you don't like, you're not gonna go complain to the manager. You made it. I don't know, man.
Looking at Chelsea this season, if I was to explain two things that you guys could do better to improve your team next season, for me, one, of course, everyone's going to say manager, but if we take the manager aside, sign more experienced players to come help this team, and that's not in the midfield. You need a striker. If you can go get a proper striker that can bang in the goals and has a good finishing rate, that's one thing that's going to help you massively, because you're in a lot of these games. You just need a better finisher up top. Number one. Number two, I would get a center back who has experience to replace Thiago Silva. So if you have Thiago Silva leaving, Fofana and all these guys are great, but who's going to help guide them? Who has that know-how, that experience within the game? So then that's where you need a center back that has a little bit more experience. I don't know who that is. I'm not the scouts. This is where the scouts have to start doing their jobs properly and bringing those proper players for you, because this is when arguments around football become jokes. Because the moment when people say, "Who sack the manager? Who are you going to bring in?" Well, it's not our job to figure out who they bring in. It's not our job to figure out which striker they bring in or which defender they pick in. You have an area that you need to fix. These are why they get paid. Go fix that area instead of going and trying to get more young players. Because who knows if Jackson is ever going to be of the standard to help win you guys anything? Who knows if Badiashile and Fofana are going to be fit enough and available enough to help you guys get back to the Champions League? Like, I'm sorry, it's just I would start there, because Antonio Rudiger and Christensen, these guys that people were like, "Yo, Chelsea's defenders aren't that good." They had one of the best defenses in the league, and people took it for granted. You guys took it for granted.
The grass ain't green on the other side. You look at the team, the Champions League squad that we had, the winning squad. Aspilicueta, you could say we made an upgrade to an extent with Gusto, with some cover with Reece James.
But you lack of experience.
Yeah, still a lack of experience. You look at the back three: Christensen, Thiago Silva, and Rudiger. Disasi, Badiashile, Fofana, and Colwell are nowhere near them. The left back position: Cucurella, Alonso. I prefer Alonso, me personally.
No, Alonso was a liability defensively,
but so is Cucurella. This is what I'm saying. At least Alonso offered something going forward. And then you look at the midfield: Caicedo, Enzo, Lavia, Ugochukwu, and Gallagher. And then we went from Loftus-Cheek, Kovacic, Kante, Jorginho. Like, we've sunk. Even Werner, we hated Werner. We wanted Werner and Pulisic out of the club. Pulisic is getting player of the month in the Serie A. We've got Noni Madueke and Kai Havertz. Not Palmer's the replacement, isn't it? So
no, but Kai Havertz is doing his thing at Arsenal. He's playing. He is, bro. The guy is absolutely impactful to everything that we do right now. The way Kai Havertz is playing in the midfield, the way Kai Havertz is playing in attack, the way that he's transitioning and helping us finish off our chances. Every time we get a goal, almost Kai Havertz is partly involved in the goal. I'm not sitting here saying Kai Havertz is the best player in the world, but for a squad player at Arsenal right now, he's doing his job to a T, and he saved us against Bournemouth twice this season. He saved us against Luton Town. He saved us in a lot of these games where we're close, where we need something. And he has 9 goals, 5 assists in the Premier League already this season. All competitions, he has 10 goals, 5 assists. I don't know how many seasons at Chelsea he was at, but he's never reached 9 goals, 5 assists for you guys.
But you can argue in the same breath, because he was our leader 9. Jackson, his 30 million replacement, has got 10 goals and 4 assists in the league. All competitions 13.
But what you have to realize is Kai Havertz played 32 games. I think maybe 8 he's played as a striker. He's played a lot of the games all over the pitch.
Do you feel like he was a good enough replacement for Xhaka?
He's not the Xhaka replacement. We replaced Xhaka in the aggregate. So we brought Declan Rice in and him, and Xhaka left. So if you look at it this way, it's 2 in for 1. I know what Xhaka's good at, his passing ability, neither of them have. Neither of them have the passing range that Granit Xhaka has. That's the one thing that we miss from them. But guess what? Jorginho fills in for that. Jorginho's passing range is elite also. So we did not replace him directly. None of them are replacements for Granit Xhaka. We just replaced them in the aggregate. We got enough pieces to give us what we needed in that position. It's just, is it going to be enough defensively and in the transition against some of the top teams? Because that's where we struggled. When we have guys like Martinelli, they don't release themselves as easy as they did last year. That's where we're kind of struggling. In that midfield position itself, I don't think it's that big of a problem. I just think it affects the left side of the attack. And Zinchenko is not as... We can't play Zinchenko the way we used to, because Xhaka did a lot of work to defend and cover him. This season, Zinchenko, he's basically unplayable with the midfield options that we have.
Yeah, I agree. That inverted thing doesn't really work. What would you say is next going into, let's say this season you don't win the title? What would you say you need to improve your squad? Of course, you need some right wing depth for Saka.
1 second. I don't want to just walk by that though. Why can't we just win this title this season? I know we just need to win all our games. We beat you. Understand that our toughest games might be away games, but our record away from home lately, we've won 6 on the bounce with clean sheets. Man City away. What do you call it? We just played a game away last week, Wolves. We played all these away games and we just keep clean sheets. Burnley, Sheffield United, all these teams, we're just smashing them and keeping clean sheets away from home. So it's like if our away performance are this good and we're still winning our home games and we're one of the top teams up there, if Man City slip up, we can still win this league, bro. I don't want to give up on this season.
Right. So you've got us to play. If I'm being honest with you guys should beat us easily. If we take a draw from this game, it's a moral victory because we've hurt your title race. You've got Spurs. You've got United game week 37 at Old Trafford, where you guys historically don't get wins. So those 3 games are the big problems. This is a big test in you guys' mentality also to see how you guys handle tomorrow's game. Same with us because of the disappointing result. We have nothing really to play for anymore but Conference League. So going in there, I expect more of a fight. I expect us to go all guns blazing. We you know what I'm saying? We were 2-0 up against you guys early in the season in the reverse fixture. So it's a test for both of us, really. But
something you missed though. We're out of the Champions League. Being out of the Champions League allows us to now have that rest that we didn't have going into the Aston Villa game. Aston Villa game, bro, these guys were dead tired. They weren't playing up to their best. Against Wolves, we just needed to get a win. Now, I think going into this Chelsea game at home, I think we're going to be a lot better. I think we're going to be a lot physically, a lot more ready. Arteta made a little bit of rotation in some positions, not all of them. But guys like Saka, I think what we need to do for the rest of the season, we need to find time to give a break to Saka, a break to Declan Rice, a break to Odegaard here and there. So, for example, I would earmark and target the Chelsea game as a possibility where we could maybe have give some players a break like Saka, but then play the rest of the team full strength because Saka needs rest, bro. And as for next season,
for the Chelsea game,
I would start with Jesus on the right wing. And I would drop Saka for the to the bench for that game. And if we need him, we can always bring him on. The reality is Saka has been very, very poor in spurts during this bad run against Bayern, Aston Villa, back-to-back games. He played well against Bayern at home. Bayern away, he was kind of ineffective. Aston Villa, he was okay. Wolves, he was good for the last 10 minutes, but majority of the game he was very quiet. And going into this Chelsea game, I'm scared if we don't give him a break, he's going to break down or get injured. So it's not disrespecting Chelsea. It's just about protecting Arsenal at this point.
Oh, yeah. That also just shows how the mighty have fallen, though. Like, Chelsea fans watching this, you see how Arsenal are in a title race with a league title to play one, the first one in 20 years, and they're coming to Chelsea saying, yeah, we can drop our best player. Imagine that, but we make it.
We beat Man City without Saka.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you did. You actually did.
Yeah. So it's not disrespect, bro.
Let's before we wrap up, I want to know your predictions, and also I'd like to know
next season. I forgot to mention that.
Oh yeah. Next season, what would you do to improve the team?
Can I ask you a question? Do you agree with this statement? Doesn't matter what happens this season, Arsenal's coming and we're going to be here competing for the league next season.
Yeah.
So from this statement, I want a midfielder, I want a striker, I want a proper left back. And I think that is the 3 things that this team is missing this season when it comes to a starting midfielder that can do the Jorginho / Declan Rice job, left 8, deep playmaker, something like that. One of those 2. So Declan Rice has a designated position in one of the other 2.
So like a Partey replacement.
Yeah, striker, because I don't think Kai Havertz or Jesus or Trossard or Eddie Nketiah are good enough to be your leading striker for a Champions League winning side. And then the final thing would be a left back, because I don't think Tomiyasu, Kvyat, and Zinchenko, either of them are the long-term solution for us in that left back position. And then outside of that, if I could really push it, and we can get 2 more signings, it would be an additional center back and an additional midfielder, because why not? Why not get another midfielder just to help out the team? And I would actually get rid of the likes of Partey, El Neni, Emil Smith Rowe, Eddie Nketiah, Reece
Vieira?
Nelson, all gone.
What about Fabio Vieira?
Fabio Vieira, he hasn't got a chance. Man got injured. He looked okay to start the season. We're not going to get the value we paid for him at this point. The best would be if we loaned him out, but that would just tell me more about Mikel Arteta not trusting and believing in the player. I think if he gets physically bigger and stronger and he can handle the physicality of the league a little bit better, because I don't know how physical the Portuguese league is, because he came here and he's a lightweight. In the Portuguese league, he was getting 10, 15 plus assists. So I still have faith in the guy, but it's just Arteta's not showing any faith in him. So how can I?
Yeah, that's fair. So I wanted to. So for your predictions for this game, I'm predicting a draw. If any of these guys have any sort of spine, I predict a draw just to show, okay, because this game is really, like I said, a moral victory. We've lost the FA Cup, we're out of Europe for the second season in a row. So now is, do you guys really want to see Arsenal win the title? This is what it is. So I'm expecting a draw if these guys have any sort of spine.
So Chelsea are not the most prolific side, but Arsenal have been conceding a lot of goals lately at home. Away from home, we don't concede that often. So I would give you guys a goal. And as for us, we have this thing where we take a lead and then we try to sit on it. We after a while we concede and then we turn it back on and we score a couple more. So I wouldn't be surprised if the game ended 3-1 and it went like that, where Arsenal get an early lead, we try to hold on to it, Chelsea get one back, and then we end off the game getting a second, and then you guys chase the game and we get a third. So I think it's going to end 3-1 to the Arsenal, and I think that's respectful. I don't think because people are going to say, "Oh, you think we're going to score 3 goals against Chelsea?" I don't think you guys are going to come to our house and be defensive. I think
our defense isn't even good anyway. We lead goals all the time.
I think you're going to play a very open game. And against Arsenal, if you play a very open game, you're going to get punished. Where Man City, you played an open game against a tired Man City, and you've seen what happened. So it's like, I think we're just going to be a little bit more clinical, hopefully. And yeah, my team that I would actually play Jorginho and Havertz against you guys in this game.
That will hurt. That will sting. I'll be honest with you. That will sting. Let's do a combined 11, of current Chelsea when we do all time. So with the current Chelsea team, what would your combined 11 be?
Do you think any of them even are supposed to get in?
I'll say only Palmer.
Nah, mate. I would say Malagusto, left back. Malagusto, left back. Where would Palmer play? Would you take him over Saka?
Based on the current form today, yeah.
So Saka's not in the team, or are you throwing Saka left?
I'll put Saka on the left. If you need a left back,
has Palmer played on the left wing?
Manchester City did.
Okay, so put Palmer left wing.
Yeah, over Martinelli.
Yeah.
And I keep everything else the same.
Everything else Everyone else is Arsenal. Wait, who's your striker?
Jackson.
Would you put Jackson in over Trossard? Trossard has 9 goals in the league.
No. But you know what's funnily enough, though? I think Jackson would do very good at Arsenal,
Wait, one second. The back line is going to be Raya, Ben White, Gabriel, Saliba, Gusto. We agree. Midfield.
I'll put Chilwell left back.
What?
I'll put Chilwell left back.
No, Gusto.
Over Chilwell, left back.
Gusto's had a better season than Chilwell.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my logic. I just can't logically put Chilwell in the team. Midfield, Declan Rice has to be in. Odegaard has to be in. Who's your midfield candidate that can go in over Havertz or Jorginho?
Caicedo or Gallagher?
I'll put Havertz in there over both of them.
Havertz over Caicedo is criminal.
Havertz over Caicedo this season, overall performances. If I was going to pick one of your two, it would be Conor Gallagher over Caicedo personally. So if you want to have 3 players, then you have Conor Gallagher. This is me giving you guys a third player. It would be Conor. So that whole left side would be your players. It would be Conor Gallagher on the left 8. You'd have uh, wait, and then who would be the striker? Then would the striker be Trossard or Havertz?
I'll give
Trossard has 9 goals, 1 assist. Havertz has 9 goals, 5 assists. 10 goals, 5 assists.
I'll do Trossard.
Because you
But
just
then
don't.
again, you need aerial threat though. Yeah, Havertz is actually good in
But
that.
Jackson has so many goals. I'm gonna see Jackson in a lot of these combined 11s. Just thinking about it now. Do you think there's a case for Jackson?
Not after this weekend, I don't think so. He's stocks in the mud right now. If it was earlier in the week, yeah, definitely. After the Everton game, definitely.
It's gonna be interesting to see who Ches argues for later when I do my video. Probably, I would if I'm gonna be fair, I would just go Cole Palmer false 9 and put Trossard in the left.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Or
Yeah.
even if you wanted to take Gallagher out and do a 4-2-3-1 and put Palmer in the 10.
But then Havertz, I think, should be in the team over Cole Palmer if he's in the 10.
That's criminal.
But we already have Odegaard. We already have Odegaard in the team, so we don't really need that. Jorginho doesn't get in the team, I think, because he's just not played that many consecutively. I don't know, man. The midfield, let's see what the chat have to say, because I think this is where the midfield and the attack is going to show how biased people are.
Yeah.
The defense and the goalkeeper picks itself.
Yeah. So now let's do all-time combined 11. For me, I would do Cech. I'll do Cech. I'll do Ivanovic. I'm trying to think of your great right backs. So I'm thinking of Sanya and that. So I'm going to say Ivanovic. Laurent, maybe. I wouldn't be mad at Laurent or Ivanovic. Carvalho and Terry, or Carvalho and Sol Campbell? Carvalho has to be there for me.
Okay. To me, the only right back that we have that would make a case for this would be Laurent, or that would be my guy. But Lee Dixon maybe. But then left back is Ashley Cole. We know that. Center back pairing. Does Adams or Cole get in?
Adams, no.
Because goalkeeper is Czech, no question. Yeah. He's played for both clubs also. Center back pairing, I would actually go the 2 legends. I'll just go the 2 legends, Adams and Terry.
Adams over Sol Campbell and Carvalho.
Adams and Terry. The 2
are. This is a bit unpopular, but I think Carvalho was the better centre back than John Terry. He won the champion. He won the Europa League.
Longevity. He didn't have the longevity.
Yeah, fair enough. 3 league titles. Fair enough. Though. I hear it. Okay, we put Terry and I'll put Sol Campbell over Adams. Tony Adams.
Sol Campbell over Tony Adams. Fair. Yeah. Either way, I get a player and I'm happy. And then Ashley Cole played for both clubs, so really and truly, we're sharing that one also. Midfield. My midfield 3 would be John Terry, Fabregas, and Vieira.
Wait, Lampard, you mean?
Oh, wait. Conte's in there. So Conte, Vieira, base, and then you decide between Lampard, Fabregas.
I would do Kante, Lampard, Fabregas, and I'm not even talking Chelsea bias. Arsenal, Fabregas can go there because if we got Vieira, you don't need Kante.
Okay, so then Vieira's in then.
Over Kante?
Yeah.
Kante's won everything there is to ever win. PFA Player of the Year.
I'm giving you a team. You need to win, and you need a player in that team that's going to secure you the win. I think the most balanced midfield is actually taking Fabregas out of the side and going. If you want to do that, or taking Lampard out, one of them have to go, because I think the most balanced midfield would be Conte, Vieira, and one of the other 2 attractive wingers. And the reason why that would be the most balanced, because you have game changers in Vieira, you have game changer in Lampard or Fabregas, and then Conte just does his thing. And don't forget, we could have picked Makalele. We're not even picking Makalele. We're just saying anyone, your choice.
Everything Makalele Vieira can do, Makalele and Kante can do.
So, which one do you want to pick? Do we do 1 DM and 2 of Frank Lampard and thing? Because where does Dennis Bergkamp jump into this? Are we going to do a 10? What are we doing?
Okay, all right, cool.
Are we doing a 2, 1? Are we doing a 1, 2? Are we doing 1 DM, 2 midfielders, a 10 and 2 8s? What are we doing?
I'll do 4-3-3. I'll do a 4-3-3.
I know, but how is your 3 going to go?
A DM and 2 8s.
Okay, a DM and 2 8s. So in that case, Dennis Bergkamp is not going to be considered an 8. So we're not going to be counting him. Cesc Fabregas or Lampard? What are you saying?
Lampard.
Okay. Then Conte, Makalele, and Patrick Vieira. Pick 2.
I'll do Makalele and Vieira just so it's balanced, isn't it?
Okay, so that works. So Makalele, Vieira. I think you should tweet this team out after we're done. And then the front 3. This is where we're gonna have arguments. But I'm going to say you guys can have Havertz. Hazard, I mean, on the left, we can have what do you call it? Thierry Henry up top. Who's going to be on the right?
You could do Zola, but I'm thinking even in terms of the formation, I'll do a diamond 4-4-2. Put Hazard in the 10 or Bergkamp. We can argue that one, and then Drogba and Henry up top.
Oh yeah, Bergkamp, Drogba, Henry. That works. Forget the right and left. That works perfectly. But then you're not going to have Hazard in the team.
I would argue Hazard in the 10, me personally, innit? But that's going to cause a debate in itself.
Yo, I don't think we can make an argument for Hazard versus Bergkamp. I don't think there's an argument for Hazard over Bergkamp. Like, if you want to sit here and say, Hazard I think Hazard's more of a winger. I don't put him as a number 10. And also dictating, controlling the game, the way that Bergkamp just affected the final third, different levels. I don't want to disrespect Hazard, but when you're talking about legends here, it's very difficult. Drogba gets into the team. It's basically a question of, do you want to find a formation that suits Hazard, that also can suit Drogba and Henry, or does this system suit Bergkamp better? Be honest.
It makes more sense to put Bergkamp in the 10. If you wanted to put all 3 of them together, then Hazard, Henry, and Drogba, you can put Hazard.
I think it's fair because I didn't even fight for Cesc. I didn't even fight for any of the modern day.
I was thinking Fabregas isn't in there, so yeah, I understand Hazard not being there. You know, we're gonna be called criminals for this team sheet when I put it out. It's combined 11.
The only thing that people are going to be upset about is the center backs and
the center backs,
the midfield maybe, and then Hazard. That's it.
Yeah.
Anyways, it is what it is. People are never going to come to a conclusion. I think the fairest thing that we could do is Dennis Bergkamp in, because I gave you so many midfielders. Like, I gave you so many players in the midfield. You know what? How about this? Take out Makalele and just put Fabregas.
Yeah, because it was a diamond 4-4-2 as well. Fabregas can be in.
Yeah, because or is that too much creativity? Because we now have Bergkamp, Lampard. Nah, it's too much creativity. We need to keep it the way it was.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not mad at it.
So the way I would look at it is, it's a back 4, and then it's going to be a DM, 2 8s, the 10 in Dennis Bergkamp, so it's a diamond, and then you have the 2 center backs. So yeah, that's how I'll have it.
Yeah, no, I'm not mad at it. I'm gonna tweet this one out. Thank you for coming on for the show. It means a lot. You know, I've been just to give you your flowers while you can smell them. Before I even started doing the content stuff in the first place, I used to watch you and Lee Gunner going at it on Football Terrace, like going at it. My little brother, my whole family's also older brother, little brother. My oldest is West Ham, but my little brother is basically a little version of you. he's like, no, he's spitting facts, yeah. So I really just started doing the content just because I found that a lot of Chelsea fans generally don't really like. There's not really anyone that's out there that says the quote unquote truth, in my opinion, in terms of what's going on with the ownership and so forth. And there isn't many young black guys that are really representing Chelsea. So I was like, let me just start making content, hopefully, spread the word about the ownership. So to be working with you alongside you and just to do this collab, it means a lot, man. It's just I'm very happy to have you on it.
No worries, mate. You have a great one. I appreciate the kind words, and yeah, man, it's always nice to see more people on the scene doing their thing. And also, I just have to say, your energy is unmatched. When you're on streams, people know you're in the room, man. I appreciate. I like that energy because you're gonna go places with that.
Oh, man, appreciate that, man. Thanks a lot. Hopefully, we end your title hopes tomorrow.
Hopefully, you guys finish lower than 8th, so we can laugh at that.
Don't even get me started on that. 8th twice. So what I'm gonna say is, in your project, you was mid-table twice, so you can't come and you guys were making excuses for it. So I don't want to hear nothing. Or at least we was winning trophies while that was happening. You guys aren't. So I don't want to hear a lot.
What did you win?
When did you? What year? The second year you finished 8th, we won the Champions League.
No, I mean, what did you win this year and last year?
Oh, nothing.
We won
What
the
did you win this year?
We won the FA Cup, finishing 8th. So that's what I'm saying, getting to.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. That's true. FA Cup Blues. But yeah, hopefully we end your title race. You guys smash the like button, comment, subscribe, follow Egal. I'm gonna be on his streams regularly. He's gonna be streaming today at 8, so I'm gonna be on there. Football Terrace, you see us there as well, 6 o'clock tonight. And yeah, man, thanks for locking in.
Peace.